Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm happy to welcome Miss Martina Lauchengco. She is one of the most respected professionals of product marketing field in the world, and she has experience in big companies like Microsoft and also in Silicon Valley startups. She is the author of this book, Loved: How to Rethink Marketing for Tech Products. I really recommend this book for everyone who wants to learn more about product marketing. And I'm also adding a link where you can find this book and purchase this book for read later. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and to add a like to help me to produce more videos. Like artificial intelligence applications are changing the way we work in our routine. So OpenAI and ChatGPT applications are moving very fast, and it's a huge trend topic in technology. And I want to know your opinion about this, how this can affect the everyday work of product marketing professional, and if do you think it is opportunity for work better, or maybe can this be a risk for P.M.M works?
I actually know a number of people who have tried to put into Chat GPT their company and seen what positioning statement or messaging it suggests or ad copy. And I'd say what I've observed from what has come out of those experiments is it gives you exactly what you would expect messaging or exactly what you would expect copy. So it's nothing, it hits the target, but it's nothing that is extraordinary or breaks through. And the biggest thing I work with a lot of product marketers on is there's plenty of average stuff out there, and a lot of what would be created by a Chat GPT will be average, so in some cases above average. So the challenge becomes, how do I maybe take this as a baseline, saying this is what the world would expect, this is what anything would predict, and how do I make it better or more targeted or stronger for the purpose that I am trying to use this for right now? Is it the tagline on my homepage? Is it something specific in a campaign? What else can I bring to this that makes it stand out so that it isn't just more of the same or looks like it was generated by Chat GPT? So I think it is raising the bar for anything that we touch and create ourselves. It just raises the bar for us.
The other question that I want to ask, it is about the layoffs that are happening in big tech companies, and how do you think that can affect the P.M.M job opportunities?
Well, what I've seen immediately, so I coast to Noah Ventures, I work with early stage startups, and there's still plenty of hiring happening there. And now it's just easier to hire. There are more people that are willing to look for jobs. There are more people asking themselves the question, am I at a job that I want to be at or that I have to be at? We had the great resignation from last year, and now we have people that were forced out of a job that might be really talented, but their project got cut. So I think it has definitely become an opportunity for people who are trying to hire, for sure. And a lot of people will decide, oh, now's the perfect time that I want to start my own company. So that's on the early stage startup front. That's how we look at it. And I would say in general, for people who are still at companies where there have been cuts, at first there's always the shock, but then there's also the opportunity for, gosh, we were able to do more than we realized with running efficiently. So I think it forces people to rethink what they might have done out of habit and say, well, how might I do this better and smarter because I have to? So I do, again, believe it represents an opportunity for everyone sitting in their job to think, how might I be smarter about how I do my job?
Yes. So another question about your book. Like I said before, your book is a huge success here in Brazil. I want to know you what inspired you to write this book, and what you expect that everyone will learn after read it.
Well, I think the So it is third in a series from SVPG. So the first was Inspired, which is about the fundamentals of how to be a great product manager. Empowered, which is about how to lead great empowered product management teams. And then what we all collectively realized is, in some cases now, building the product is the easier problem to solve. Actually bringing a product to market is an enormous challenge. Certainly when I work with startups, and that sometimes is the bigger problem. Like at this point, anything that you can imagine can be built. Bringing it to market so that it's successful is actually the harder problem. A lot of innovation is actually happening on the go-to-market side. Do you go direct to your customer, or do you go to a top-down sale? What's better for acquisition? What's better for monetization? All of this is go-to-market facing. And there isn't a lot of understanding on the part of product people what all those go-to-market aspects are. And the intersection of the product that's being built and that go-to-market motion is product marketing. So it became clear that there needs to be a book that writes about or explains what product marketing the discipline is, not by someone who holds the title. It could be someone that holds the title, but it might be someone that's a product manager that has to step in and figure this stuff out as they're in the early days. Or it might be in a country like Brazil, where there aren't as many people that have a product marketing background. And so people have to learn what that function is. And so I really wanted to define it at its most fundamental level, so people understood it's an essential part in technology for how a product gets to market, is figuring out the product marketing aspects of it. So that's the perspective from which the book was written and why I wrote it.
I think one of the most important tasks that someone who works with product marketing is the go-to-market strategy, and also it can also be a very hard challenge to do. And I want to ask you about some tips, and what do you think that every go-to-market plan must have in order to be a success?
That's a great question. And I would say the number one thing that every strong go-to-market plan, that's the sort of fundamental to the strategist, has is great knowledge of the customer and the market. So I just came out of a 3-hour meeting with a team of founders, their CTO, huge part of and we were trying to figure out what's the message, and then how do we take this to market? And a huge part of the discussion was what's actually happening in the marketplace. How confused are people by all these companies? We actually looked at 12 different ones. Everyone's using the same language. So it's very, very confusing. So how you can't just declare what you are. You have to understand the mindset of the person that you're speaking with and help clarify and educate before you go into what it is that you do. So that was a big go-to-market strategic aspect, is we can't just declare what we are and then go do stuff. We actually have to clarify where we sit within the industry, be a thought leader in helping to direct people with this expert point of view. And that is what's going to help us go to market. We can't go at it straight on. We have to attend to the market and customer realities in order to be able to eventually sell our product in a more direct, or market our product in a more direct way. So understanding the customer and market realities is the most fundamental part. So that's thing one. And then I'd say the other things that people tend to iterate on or perhaps need to pay a little bit more attention to is the storytelling aspect. It's not just the messaging, but it's all of the other things that are done that help reinforce a position that a product or a company is trying to occupy. So it's not a one and done thing. We did our positioning statement, we're done. And so what are the things that you systematically do through all of your actions that build toward a position? And that the plan, when you look at it writ large, that you can see how it moves toward that desired market position. So those are two key things.
What do you think how product marketing professionals must work with other professionals like product development teams, marketing teams, content creation teams, and other professionals who are involved in this go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, so with agile product development, It means that you constantly want to be part of the dialogue of how things are getting prioritized to make sure they meet where the market is going. And so that's the dialogue with the product team. Let's make sure that what you guys are doing is actually helping us move us towards where we need to be in market, or that the sales team has enough interesting things to sell, or that we are able to do battle with this competitor. That's the product part of the conversation. The go-to-market part of the conversation and coordination with the go-to-market team, the marketing teams, that tends to look like, here are the most important atomic particles that we need to emphasize. It might be a word, it might be certain buyers. It's helping to articulate to those teams what they should include in the many, many things that they will be doing. These are the core essence that's important not to forget. Build on top of that however you want, but these are the core things that we want to make sure we keep reinforcing, either by target market attributes or key messaging. As it relates to the sales team, if it's B2B and there's people that actually have to sell and convert people to paying customers, that's working really closely with those teams to help give them all the tools and enablement and evangelism tool set that they need to be successful at their job. So it can be sales tool development. It can be, are the right influencers saying the right things? It can be as a third party validating us. It can be the digital tool set is in place. So those are all the digital tool, but by that I mean is how you show up on Google or Bing or in any of the comparison sites. Is it how you want to look? Do you have enough people reviewing you? So it's making sure that all of that essential hygiene is in place for those that are trying to evangelize the product on the company's behalf.
Yes. So that remember me another part of your book that you said about the four biggest fundamentals fundamentals that everyone who works with product marketing must have. The first one, it is to be an ambassador. The second one, to be a strategist. The third one, to be a storyteller. And the fourth one is to be evangelist. Can you explain a little bit more about these four fundamental skills that everyone must have, and why do you think this is important in technology today?
Yeah. So I was referencing all of those different fundamentals and how they interplay with one another. And thank you for naming them all. I think part of why I thought it was important to articulate them just as those core, most fundamental things is product marketing as a role has gotten confused with the outputs. We have a launch plan. We've got the product collateral. We did a messaging document. We know who our ideal customer profile is. We are doing product marketing because we have these assets, and not the core, more fundamental aspects that need to be behind that. Is that really transmitting market and customer understanding to the organizations that need to build a product against it, or that need to market it or sell against it? Is this a strategy one that actually helps penetrate the market? How much should we be targeting switching customers from a competitor versus new greenfield customers? And where is that effort bearing more fruit? That's directing that go-to-market strategy. The strategist component. The storyteller, we talked about that. It's not just messaging, but it's all the things you build toward the position that you want to occupy. And that evangelist one, that's one where most of that work is going to happen through others. But it's how do we make sure everyone that should be evangelizing on behalf of the product is able to do so? If you have a sales force, it's making sure that they're enabled. If you are direct to consumer, it's probably largely using influencers. Who are the key influencers? How do we make sure that they're talking about it? Is it press? Is it influencers on social media? Is it others? Is it our customer base? Is it developing community on Discord? So it's figuring those things out. Product marketer might not be the person managing those programs or doing that work directly, but it's helping to enable those groups to do that effectively.
Helping me with this. Another question that I think that will be the last one. It is about the difference in working in the day-to-day in early stage startups or in growth stage startups or mature companies or maybe big tech companies. I think, in my opinion, that the professionals who works there have a lot of different skills, and if you want to maybe work for early stage or growth stage companies, you must develop some different skills. So what's your opinion about that, and how product marketing can work better, knowing the type of company are you working
Yeah.
for?
Well, I can speak to my own career progression, and that it helped me tremendously to start my career in a place as disciplined and as mature as Microsoft, because I learned like what best practice looks like. All the roles were mature, and so we could specialize and we could get really good at doing different disciplines and aspects of product management, product marketing. Then I went to, but at the time was Netscape, which I don't know if it would be called a growth stage startup today. It was a public company by the time I got there, but it was chaotic. They didn't even have a launch process defined or anything like that. It was kind of crazy. It was early days of the internet. It was sort of crazy. And then I eventually went, I was employee number 11 at Leão. So I kept going down, but each place I acquired and developed different skills that I could then apply to the earliest stage, which is where things are massively iterative. You have to be able, you can't rely on a playbook at the early stages. You have to take massive amounts of inputs, be very dynamic in how you iterate around them, and keep adapting to what market realities are. So early stage is the most adaptive and the most dynamic. Later stage, more mature companies is when you can get really skilled at a specialty or an aspect of it. You might just focus on sales enablement because it's so mature you can, or you just focus on one market. You own a vertical. I own financials, or I own the mid-tier enterprises. So there's more specialization because you have more mass and more people that you can do that against. And then that middle stage is some version of in between. And these days, so when I started my career, there wasn't someone that specialized in content. A lot of people in product marketing will be either assisting in content development, or they might do some content development themselves. But that's where, at that mid stage, having the capacity to develop those assets and have them be useful, in particular on the go-to-market side, that becomes a key skill that gets honed in that growth stage because it's expected of that company, that they're able to grow, identify patterns, build more systematic processes so that it can get better and better at growing faster.
So thank you for attending me today. I think we've finalized our time, and also I made all the questions that I intend to do. I want to more one time thank you for your attention and to helping me to develop this project.
Well, thank you so much for trying to educate the Brazilian and Portuguese audiences about how to do product marketing better.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like that, don't forget to subscribe in this channel.